Okay, hey Ryan. So I'm going to teach you that thing that's on page 49. So if you look at page 49, okay, so maybe you want to pause me and get page 49 in your book open. So when you learned how to count when you were little, you learned about whole numbers, right? So you started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so on. And obviously, as you got smarter, you went higher. Now, 0 is also a whole number because maybe, like when you learned how to count when you were 1, you really didn't understand what 0 was, but obviously you do now. So then what happened was, so you did whole numbers, right? Let's put whole numbers here. So, oops, my little stylus isn't working. Whole numbers. Okay, and then this year, right, you started doing all of the 6th grade math, and so then you got a little bit smarter, and we introduced integers to you, right? Now, integers are positive and negative numbers, right? Okay, so the thing is with this thing, we call this a Venn diagram. Whole numbers is the smallest group. So every single whole number is an integer, because think about it. Whole numbers start at 0, and then they go all the way up to infinity. Well, those are integers too. The thing is there are some integers that aren't whole numbers, right? Like the negative numbers. Like -1 is not a whole number. -2 is. If your mom and dad taught you that at the age of 2, it would have blown your mind. So all the negative numbers are not whole numbers. But every single whole number is an integer. That's why we put the whole numbers, the little green circle there, inside the integers, because every single whole number is an integer, but not every integer is a whole number. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. And then probably even last year, maybe even the year before, all of that, then you started, I should say, learning about rational numbers. Okay, now rational numbers, for right now, until you get into 11th grade, well actually for you it'll be 10th grade, but rational numbers are the biggest group of numbers that we have. Rational numbers are your whole numbers, your 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of those. Rational numbers are your integers, all your negative numbers and your positive numbers. But rational numbers have extra stuff in them that integers and whole numbers don't. And those are your fractions and your decimals. So that's what a rational number is. So a rational number, for example, could be like 24 over 37, right? That's not a whole number, and it's not an integer. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers, if you want to think of it that way. Okay, whereas rational numbers are whole numbers. They are integers, but in addition, they're all your fractions and your decimals. So let me put another one over here, like 0.75. Okay, so then you want to ask yourself, are all whole numbers integers? Well, look at the whole numbers. That's the smallest circle there. So yes, all whole numbers are integers. All whole numbers are rational numbers. However, if we reverse that, that's not always going to be the case. So for example, all rational numbers are not integers, because as soon as I start talking about a decimal or a fraction, that's not an integer. Not all rational numbers are whole numbers either. Okay, because again, as soon as I start talking about a decimal or a fraction or a negative number, that's not a whole number. Okay, so that's basically what Macy and I were talking about. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you just let me know. Good luck.